start stream.
Oh,
And she's pretty clearly announced herself as a grandma.
Yeah, and she's telling you what to do and things like that here. So there's no big surprises on that one. Mal entered the area when you guys came in. He's never been visible in this location, if I'm correct, right?
right. And he was creeping along the wall. I'm not sure if he moved or if that was where I was, but I know he was creeping up along the wall trying to get around.
I may have moved you a bit. I redesigned and dropped the map size. And then and today I discovered, so if anybody's ever watching this later on, why my maps have sucked so bad. All my tokens and everything, all the tiles I was dragging on were defaulting to has view on. So every one of them was being treated like a PC token. Every single wall, every
With
little
vision?
drop, with vision, everything.
Oh.
So I was like, well, that'll make a difference. So
Yeah.
So I started going through this map and turning a lot of them off. There's still a few of them here and there, but now I know what to look for. It's some default setting.
Well, thank you, because I've actually been wondering about that, because I use a lot of tokens too, but I've never turned the sight on. I wonder what would happen if I turned sight on everything. If that would clutch things up. So
Yeah, it drops to a crawl.
Yeah.
So now we don't. So where you are, Mal, is on the other side of an illusionary wall. The other people can't really see you at this point because the wall's there. I just took it off.
Okay.
Everyone else then was sitting around the table chatting with the dragon, who was sort of having some control issues of losing her anger issues. Trying to keep control and be civil, but having problems. What do you guys want to do with Rosnar's body? Last time he was here, you dropped him way out here, and I didn't know if he was still there or not, and I wanted to double check. He was out there at by the gate.
Oh, that's just because we couldn't drag him. I think we brought him with us.
Okay.
James, is she grumpy now? I didn't recall
No,
that.
she's not grumpy when she talks. She's like a teenager type of thing, or someone with a poor emotion control. Is that every once in a while she went off on something there at one point. It was like, oh, that was a little escalated. Those types of things.
And she's basically the equivalent of like a king or a queen. Nobody says no to her, especially not to her face. So that's the kind of personality we're working with.
All right, let's stop all these.
Yes, I'm realizing it's a very poor choice to have sat right next to the dragon.
Oh, that won't really matter if things go south. Don't you worry about that. None of us are getting out of here if she basically gets a chance to really breathe on us.
Mm-hmm.
So the staff then, the young lady, Chloe, says, well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Food looks like to be ready. How about we have a little bit of bite and let's play the 20 questions game. I'm very curious of where things are going, and I like the way this is going so far. And so she motions to the halflings that are over there serving food, and they start dragging food over here. Hey, Brandon.
By the way, I would have, if no one else did it, this year would have made sure that Rosnar basically got propped up in like one of these seats.
Okay.
Like next to us. There's a good reason for it too.
Yes,
okay.
Orden and his best friend.
I put him right here at Orden's feet between him and Rakir.
Okay.
We can move him if you want, but he's on the ground there.
Yeah, because essentially we all remember basically what the escape plan is, right, and how the escape mechanism works.
Mm-hmm. The oil of ethereal.
Yeah, be close.
Yes. If you're outside of the range of that, then good luck to you. Good night. So we need to make sure that Rosnar's body comes with us if we want to keep it. So I take it, is Odo basically off the map effectively because he's up there, or what?
I don't even know where he is. Oh, how'd he get up there?
I think he moved himself up there.
Oh,
he was coming around the back, wasn't he? No.
I think he's just part of the negotiations. I don't know why he got moved up.
Maybe he was just frantically running out the door and bounced the mouse.
Probably.
Yeah, he did move up around that time.
And do you mind if I move back next to the wall?
Yeah, put yourself where you want to be.
Okay.
And we will begin with that.
Oh, was that we're recording ding?
No, that was the Windows 11 changing your volume ding. So these halflings start bringing the food on over. They don't say a word. They're here. They have sort of, you can tell by looking at them that they're terrified of what's going on, but they've had to deal with this before. They rush out the food. They actually seem to be more worried about you all than they are about the young lady, and sort of putting the food up there very carefully and subserviently bowing and scuttering back as the food all gets placed out for you all.
Nasir recognizes this. They know how to deal with her whims, but they're afraid that we're going to say something wrong, and then the blood will flow. So they're more worried about our behavior upsetting things.
Oh, don't go there, tree. I was trying to grab that meat, but I think I'll just leave it alone. And
James Rosner is still unconscious, right?
yes, he is.
Perfect.
He's not arriving anytime soon. So Chloe's looking around. Well, gentlemen, you've been through a lot to get here. Shall we play a little game of 20 questions? I have a few things I'd like to know, and if you have anything you'd like to know, I'm sure I might be able to help you out. After all, I have been around this area for quite a while.
Orden will just continue trying to keep her attention by getting her to talk about herself.
Okay.
So has Nasir actually gotten the physical copy of the contract
Yes.
at this point?
Yes, so you have the physical copy of the contract there, and you see a signature on the bottom claiming to be San Belay, and it has another name at the end, which you've heard once, which was Merrick's last name. I can't remember what it was now, something with a G. And then also about the terms that I sent that you've already read.
Yep. Now, does the paper give any impression of being magical, like a scroll or something else, or?
No, it's actually just a piece of paper.
Okay, that I can tell without any kind of
Yes.
outside confirmation. All right, I would basically I take it one of the servants gave this to me.
Yes, there was actually the guy who was down there in the gold, who had the towel, the servant. She was telling him to rush over and get it, said it was in the gray chest. He got it, ran it all the way up the steps to you all, and dropped it off. I should bring him up now, since he's way up here with you all now.
All right. Nasir will just... Yeah, that wouldn't be good. I don't think she might react poorly to that. I'll basically simultaneously wave to the servant and look at the elven woman and say, "May I?"
He quirks an eyebrow, wondering what your may I is, but nods her head.
All right. Then I'll look directly at the servant and just beckon him over.
Okay. The guy comes over. You can see that what he's holding in one hand is a large jar of some sort that has oil. You can smell scented oil, and he has a towel over the same arm, and the other hand's clean.
Roll the contract, hand it to him, and say, please provide this to the master gnome.
Okay. And he passes it over runs it around the table. Where are you at, anyways, on this map? Why are I not seeing you?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not between Thorin and.
Oh, you are now when you wiggled. You're there now. Wiggle your finger.
Visibility.
So weird.
Oh,
I know. Roll20. It's having days. Okay, yeah. So he runs it around the other side of the table, then over to, because this table's 10 feet across. Runs it over to Orden.
Fear be more polite to basically have the servant do it than for me to basically reach across the table or to get up and walk around.
Yeah, and there's that big old pig's in between the two of you now, anyways.
Yeah, I get the feeling she probably has a very, very, very set idea of how things are supposed to work here. So I'll just say.
So the young lady leans forward as you're going through it. So, contract aside, what do you all know about what's going on out there, about the worlds and dimensional barriers and gates? I'm hearing some interesting things, and I'm curious if you could fill in any holes.
All right. Say, I'll look across the table briefly to Orden and say, could you please check this before we continue with that?
Out of character. Check it for what?
In character, I don't say, but out of character, you can kind of assume, since I'm giving it to you, it's probably something for magical bullshit.
He says, "No can do, friend. I would have to use precious resources. He's already used his one free one today.
See,
Unless it's still going on. I know he started it before we came down here. I don't know if it's been longer than 10 minutes, though. Or let
Oh.
me reword that. Is it important enough that
Hold
I
on.
should
You only had
utilize
10 minutes? You only had to do is walk in from... No, it hasn't even been 10 minutes. Because you casted it before the fight, right? At the arena?
Was it after the fight in the arena? It must have
No,
been after.
even
It
then,
was,
even more
it was
time.
right after.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
all you
what I
did was walk straight through Auntie's lair, and then
Yeah, we
came
knocked
right here and
Raznar
came
out,
over and
then
sat
we...
down.
Okay.
It can't have
good
been
to
5 minutes.
know.
Especially since Mal's just around the corner.
In that case, he'll verify that it's not glowing, which
It's not.
right, you'd already said it wasn't. So he'll take a peek at it and just say, with kind of a pointed raise of one eyebrow, just looks like a typical contract to me. One that was very smartly written, if I might add, and glances over at Chloe.
Well, that bit at the end, it may be tentative, but you have to understand the person. I thought she was going to take it and run. So the deal was, once she picked it up, either she brought it to me or I killed her first. No, I wasn't going to go out of my way to kill her. I'd rather she brought it here. But you've met her.
Absolutely.
Nasir nods. So, to answer your question about gates, barriers, the like, personally, I do not know very much about this topic. I am unfortunately not well schooled in the arcane, but perhaps the other of us can answer the question.
Well, maybe if I put the situation of where I know, maybe that'll help you out. The cultist who attacked the halflings, their island, something was going on there. And that's happening elsewhere. And I was curious if you had any additional details besides they're up to something.
Oh, I see. No, there's on the island there was no portal or gate that we know of. They did attempt a summoning, but that was a spell, unless that was what you were talking about.
It is.
Well then, one can from what I understand, one can summon demons anywhere. There's nothing special about this. They simply attempted to kill us with one of their summoned pets.
Oh, well, if there was nothing special, that is good.
And we looked around. We looked around. We found there's a little basically summoning area. Didn't find anything particularly special about it. Destroyed it. Looted the place and came back. So there's really no reason to go back there unless you want to just see it for yourself.
No. That realm is a little close to me. The seas are not friendly. They're protected by someone you may have seen in the skies over Saltmarsh.
Oh really? Oh I see. Did not know that the seas were theirs. It's odd because I've never heard any of the sailors talk about this. Perhaps they are unaware.
He owns a shipping line. Oh, they're aware, all right. They just don't call him by his name. Like they don't call me. So, what would you like to know then? Tit for tat.
Nasir will look around the table to see if anyone else would like to field a question.
And poor Matt's running at half capacity today, so.
Yeah, Rakir is just kind of trying to look around. He's not eating anything. He's kind of just
Sitting there awkwardly.
kind of just trying not to be noticed.
Okay, well, I'll let you guys think about it real quick. I'll bounce over to Mal, and you figure out if you have any questions you want for her, and I'll bounce to Mal. Mal, you go ahead and make yourself a full move and tell me what you want to do.
Feel I cannot. He is he's gonna try and get around the corner here, and then climb up to the top and go across. The soul cages or the thing he's looking for is in this area.
Yes, it's on the map, actually. You can even hover over it.
Oh, sweet. All right, let me give you a stealth here. 25, and then he'll scale. Does he see anything interesting over here?
Are you searching or glancing?
He's just kind of looking over. See if there's
What
like
is
another
your
exit or a
what
way
is
out
your
of here.
passive perception? Well, you can definitely see the chamber goes on down further down a ways.
Okay.
Something shiny down there as well, out of sight. Some cobwebs in between you and it.
Passive's 18. And then he will shimmy up.
You have a passive of 18?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, yes, the cop, let me describe in details what's ahead of you. So the tunnel that looks clear and open to the naked eye is actually well trapped. You can see that the cobwebs are artificial, but really artfully done, and they're connected up to some sort of trap above, which looks like it might either drop fluids or gas or something into the area. There's also another tripwire further down the tunnel that you can just make out as well.
And does the is this an opening down here, or is this just like a big rock in front?
The big rock that she stuck clogged up the hole with.
Okay. All right, don't go down that way. And he will he'll check up ahead above and climb up to the ceiling. He's got actually he's out of movement.
Oh, because getting up to the ceiling. As you look ahead of you with your 18 passive, you can also see that the ceiling is covered in very faintly, going forward about 10 feet ahead of you, covered in little glyphs that you can barely see that are carved finely into the rock all the way across the ceiling.
Ooh, are these things on the walls as well?
They're on the ceiling only.
Okay. Can he? Is there some place he's gonna try and wedge a pitton in there, wrapped on, tied on a rope. See if he could kind of swing across the carpets there.
How are you gonna get a pit? Are you gonna stick it into the ceiling or something? Or
Yeah, are there any cracks or holes or openings in the
I gotcha.
ceiling that might?
Stealth and a strength roll.
Okay.
Since you can't use a tool.
Yep. Stealth. Ooh. And strength.
Who'd we lose there?
I think it was Odo.
Oh,
Not
the
dead.
hell out finally.
Yeah, just
Okay.
that can't be good if he just literally just bolted out of his seat and left.
Yeah.
All right, so you get the little pitton in there, and it makes a lot more noise than you would have liked to. And let's come back to you in a moment. Back to the table.
All right.
So you guys are looking over this contract. She asks if there's anything you'd want to, if you have any questions.
Yeah. Then I'll ask Nasir will say, so we came across an interesting artifact that I've been dying to know more about, but we've been having some trouble getting some information about it. It was he sort of holds his hands out, to, in the shape basket about so big. Supposedly is sanctified to Sirlali. We had it in our possession for a short period of time, but no longer do. But we're very curious about basically what it actually does.
Oh. She smiles at that. Well, that wasn't exactly what I thought you were going to ask at all. Fascinating. Well, the basket, I remember when that came about. Sir Lully wasn't that too far back in history. She visited that little village and on a stormy night, and they put her up there. And in the next day when dawn came up, the basket was all that was left when she was there. It was sort of a offering blessing to the town for showing her hospitality. What I know of it is that it has abilities to protect those who are in the township, and so it has they can protect a few people or a lot of people. Sometimes I even heard that they could even like do a large picnic for everybody in town and feed everybody in the town. It's an artifact of some sort. Beyond that, all I would know is I would believe it would be full of the attention or divine strength, power, whatever you might call it, of Cyril Lowley.
Ah, very interesting. Well, thank you. That does perhaps answer one of my questions.
And mine too. I wondered where you all went.
Yes. We have, yes. She did most certainly pull us away. Against our will, I have to say. He sort of gives a sort of a quote unquote lamb a dirty look.
I mean, yeah, the quote unquote Deacon Diggle.
Yeah.
A Diggle who's trying not to meet anybody's eyes is just eating. Very nervously eating the piece of bread in front of him. Hold on.
Oh, you see, well, I guess we'll politely wait for her to respond with her question, since I presume that's how the game goes.
Oh, right. Well, this is my next question then. I think this one might be for you, Origin. She leans forward and looks over at you. What are the dwarves up to in Thornhold? All but 4 of the Dwarves of Thornhold have gone to ground, no pun intended. And they've all disappeared. There's just 3 and your friend left in town. They're up to something. Do you know anything?
What is Thornhold?
That's the town where you actually all met originally with the very beginning caravan and went to Saltmarsh. And Thornhold is a dwarven fortress, mine, coastal city just north of Waterdeep on the way to the marsh.
What friend of mine is she referring to? Would I know?
Copperlocks. Copperlocks.
Yeah.
I thought Copperlocks. I met Copperlocks in Saltmarsh, right?
Right, but she just means that you probably didn't know that then. She's from Thornhold. As
Well,
is
I guess-
all her crew are too.
I'm sure Orden would have known
Yeah.
that. I don't know that I
So
did.
plus there was one adventure I think where they all had to go running back and Eleander was taking off to go help them and stuff like that.
He would say something to the effect of, why, they're in Saltmarsh, helping to better the city, as are we.
4 of them are. The other 100-some plus are under the ground now, doing something. I'll take
Working
it
the
that you don't
mines, I
know.
would assume. Working the mines, I would assume.
Interesting.
If she's got other motives, she certainly hasn't told me about it. And he gives like a little small sneer. It's mock, but for
Right.
her benefit.
She takes a sip of her wine, looks over. I wondered how much she'd trust you since you're not really of her kind. And sits back in her chair and looks elsewhere.
Orden grinds his teeth but keeps his mouth shut.
Question. Tit for tat.
So, I'm curious. We typically do not see many drow around here, but they've been quite active as of late. Do you know what kind of inter-house strife is going on? Because you know there are at least 2 different factions that are warring with one another. Perhaps you could enlighten us as to the situation.
The drow. Yes, you're right. You don't see any around here. Well, there is one, and she makes a nod over her left shoulder with her head. Aside from him, no, there aren't any left. There are more nearby, though. Cragsmaw, I believe the place was called. An old goblin fortress. It used to be mankind's as well. The drow took it. And they've been there now for about 2 months. As for whom they are, which faction, I'm not sure. None of my groups have been able to come back yet. I've sent Wisp to investigate, and at least then I know the layout of the area. But past that, I can tell that they belong to a certain clan. And she rattles off a name in Elvish.
Would you be able to write that down for me?
Yeah, when I come up with one for you, and then I'll add it to our notes so we have it. It's in there somewhere, though. I do actually have one. But you do recognize that it's not the same name as that lady you met, the princess, or who was there to work out some sort of arrangement. It wasn't from her group, nor was it from that other guy who was with her.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say, Cragsma. That is the one just a bit out of Neverwinter, correct?
Yes, exactly. And it's funny that you would bring that up, because that place has been on my mind a lot lately. But we'll come back to that, because other questions and other answers may change my answer. But all I know is the Drow are up to something there, and they've been taking slaves by the hundreds lately, raiding every little village and township around the area in the woods. Does that answer?
No, but of course, whatever you would provide would be sufficient. Your wisdom is most valuable.
And she says, well then, this is very fruitful. How about the voice below? I heard you mention it twice. What does it mean? Who are they? I've heard it from others too.
Oh, that's just what we call it when Mal has gas. Sorry.
Oh, actually, hold on that one too. Speaking of Mal, let's bounce up to Mal. Mal! What are you doing up there?
Oh, I'm muted too.
That's right.
He is gonna try. So he doesn't see glyphs on the walls, and just FYI, I forgot that I had the swords got pass without trace on me.
Nice!
Hidden icons for so.
Okay, so you have a 23 to 24. Okay.
Yep. So
That
he's gonna
helps.
try is swing across if there's what are they called? The glyphs are on top. He's gonna try and swing across to over here on this ledge. Kind of drop and swing.
Okay.
And get over here and then kind of creep around behind the those orbs there.
Give me another another stealth. Oh, funny, your note just came across now saying you're plus 10. Wow. So 23. What are you rolling? 3s and 4s? Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm getting them all out of the way. And so does he make it swinging it down across?
Yes, you do. Well, you can make the acrobatics. That was your stealth to do it quietly.
Yep. And acrobatics. There we go.
Yes, you land without making a noise, it seems.
Awesome. And then he's going to continue to creep along over to this area right over here. I don't know how much movement he has left.
Okay. One more square.
Okay. Do not steal. Do not steal. I'm a guest. I'm a guest.
Actually, Deacon's the guest.
Does he? Does his conscience tell him that?
Make an Arcana roll.
Okay.
Because it's the laws of the Feyan household, and
No, he's going by what he was told before.
All right. As you're looking at all the gold and stuff
know.
piles and treasures. And... All right, back to the table then. She was asking about the voice below, and if anybody knows anything about the voice below.
As the senior seer will basically say, will close his eyes for basically a few seconds, then pop them back open to look over her. As yes, unfortunately, we've actually investigated this topic as well. We have come to a bit of a dead end. We do believe they are a cult for some kind of power, but we do not know what kind of power. Demonic, something from beyond the veil. We're not sure. Very secretive. Nobody seems to have heard of it, but it does appear to have some kind of ability to draw those that it wishes to serve it from afar, and ability to inspire worship. Other than that, we do not know. We do not even know why it is called the voice from below. Below what? Sir makes a face. Couldn't find it out. Very little information, which is very frustrating. You must understand.
I think it has something to do with Sambalay's master. But there could be two with the same name as well, because it's not that unique of a name. And I don't know how someone like him could have power of this level unless he's tapped into something new. But that's the only lead I have. If you find anything else out. Did you have any other questions?
Oh, but of course. So, I guess the most important one would be that you said you heard us mention it at least twice. So, how have you heard us?
Ah,
mention the voice below twice when we have never spoken it within the confines of this town.
she laughs on that one. That'll teach me. The stones, the sending stones. You've been collecting my servant's sending stones.
Personally,
Well,
I'm quite
more
flattered to know
accurately,
personally, I'm quite flattered to know I have a stalker.
yeah.
That's with a wink and a grin.
Can I?
Just well, more accurately, Auntie's stones.
So, out out of out of character, just out of character. Sending stones don't work that way, right?
Yes,
Okay, cool. So there's obviously just so I know. So basically, so I can assume that basically that while we have the sending stones, that they're also basically they're obviously something different beyond. They're not
yes,
just sending stones. Gotcha.
exactly. So she's either using them in some other way or as something else.
Okay, because I think Nasir has at least two of them that
Yep.
he's collected from basically one from two different.
Mal's carrying one. Ordinance. I think a lot of folks have them.
I think she's just
I-
using
I think there's only
misdirection.
two. Yeah. There's one from basically the one from the druid, and the other from the werebore, I believe.
I think she's just using misdirection because she sees us through her crystal bowls that are. Is
Yeah.
there a light source back here, James? Because they're visible from where I'm at. If
I turned the map all the way on. They all are lit up, but then I was having problems with the map being weird, and I just turned on global lighting.
Yeah, no, Adam. Yeah, Adam knows that, but Nasir doesn't.
Yeah.
Because
If,
Mal has not shared it, right?
You're saying, Orden?
Yeah, is there a light source back here? If so, I can see the crystal balls from where I'm sitting.
Yes, the balls themselves. Oh no, because there's a wall in between you that's illusionary. There was a big wall in there, but I dropped it out.
Nope, got it. Understandable.
Yeah, Mal has not actually shared that information for us, so we don't know about the scrying orbs, right?
No. You know what I know? My wife is burning popcorn downstairs. God, I hate the smell of popcorn.
Really?
Yeah, Mal hasn't really talked about anything.
I can open a window. Hold on.
Okay.
No, Mal has not mentioned anything on that.
I agree. That's one of the worst smells in the world.
Like popcorn or burning popcorn?
Burning popcorn. I love the smell of popcorn.
Yeah.
Burning popcorn is horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not a fan of popcorn in general.
I like how it tastes. I just don't like getting it stuck in my teeth.
Yeah, same.
All right, then. When she says that, Nasir will be like, I see. Perhaps we can arrange a trade. I don't know how expensive they are, but we each at this point have one stone, which is not particularly useful. Perhaps you could give one of the stones to us, and we give the other stone to you, so we each will have one complete set instead of one half set.
Something to think about. Let's see, what else then? You asked that one. She looks around. Well, I don't have many more things. Well, actually, I have lots, but not many things I want to trade for.
I see.
How about... She looks down at the ground behind Orden, sort of leans over a little bit. Rosna, what about his cube? Do you know what it is?
I know what it contains.
What does it contain?
Well, rumor has it. I don't have first-hand knowledge, but rumor has it that the cube he's looking for contains his very soul.
I mean, he has one.
I was surprised too.
Delightful.
Maybe that's just his way of, compensating for the fact that he doesn't.
Now, because I know him, how do you know this?
Is that another question you wish to trade information for?
She smiles and winks. Fair enough. I'll hold on that one. There. Okay. Now that wall's back up again.
Nasir will kind of pause before asking his next question to make sure that she's satisfied with Orden's answer.
Yes. You have a question?
He honestly, he just would have told her the truth. Because didn't Red Lizard Dragon Dude let that drop when he was asking us about the cube?
The butler.
The butler's the one that said it. That's right.
Yeah.
The butler did it.
Orden was about to say that that he heard it from his lackey, his
That's
half-dragon lackey.
That's why Nasir cut you off quick there before you gave away extra information that we could trade for. Sorry about that.
Oh, that wouldn't have been accurate information. It just would have been plausible information, you know.
Okay, so she asked about Rosnar's cube, what it contains. All right, then I'll say so. We've our question. We've heard that there are dragon cultists who have basically taken over the village nearby to Saltmarsh. That was Leyland, right? We did learn there was Leyland they'd taken over.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Do you know? Would you happen to know what their objective is?
She smiles. Well, you passed on the way in. Their objective has probably been what it's always been, to find the last resting place of Eben Death and raise him from the dead. Now, what they're doing in Leylon is going to be something a little bit different. And they will need a source of operations, and there are some mines near there. I believe it might just be more of a launching point. Saltmarsh has been closed to them due to you. And really, that's the nearest city that they could find of town. Once they get from there, it's over to Tribor, and that's too far from the coast for them.
We passed through Leyland once, and I can say it's not very nice. So, what a very poor choice on their part.
Well,
she shrugs.
It was nice once. But I know they're there still. And also, and she looks over at Thorin and then smiles at Rakir, there's also a band of mercenaries who were hired on, a group from outside of Neverwinter, and they were hired on to protect the city. Lord Neverember hired them himself. Half of them betrayed, killed the others, and are in town now here.
Was she saying that they were hired to protect Leyland?
Mm-hmm. I believe, Thorin, that they belong to the same mercenary troop that you and your knightly friend belong to.
Someone's gonna grit his teeth. You said they're in town.
Indeed. Next time you're in town, look them up. You might find some old friends among them. Wouldn't that be delightful?
Very.
This is the first I'm hearing of this situation, Thorin.
Me as well.
Well then, while we're on the topic of the area, this is a bit of a stretch, but have you happened to have heard of or the whereabouts of a group known as the Austere Companions? There were some adventurers like yourself, not nearly as powerful or well-trained, but some adventurers just starting out. And they were going over to Phandelver and to deal with something there, and I believe they may have come across a dragon that's in an area.
That name does not ring a bell. Perhaps anyone else?
Out of character as a player, that sounds really familiar from somewhere, but I don't think it does to Orden.
Well then,
Would you, if perhaps if you would be able to describe some of them, we may know the individuals, if not the adventuring company.
oh absolutely. I'll have Driegel knew them better. I'll have Driegel get a hold of you and give you the details.
All right.
They're more on your side of things anyway, so they could probably use a little help. They came hereabouts looking for information and had something to trade. Well then, final. Go ahead.
Just so I'm this is not Orden, this is out of character.
Mhm.
But just so I'm clear, our main goal in coming here was to try to barter a deal to ensure she's not going to continue attacking Saltmarsh, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's done. That's
Okay,
accomplished.
that's what I thought.
Assuming we don't piss her off.
Word.
So now the goal is basically to get out of here without pissing her off, so we don't
Mal.
make enemies.
Speaking of which, Mal. Right. What's going on up there in the
Alright.
dragon's lair?
He is going to creep around the orbs. If he can't walk behind them, he'll kind of go up the side of the wall and creep around the back here until he gets to as close as he can get in one movement to the little item here.
Right there. As you start moving up, actually make 2 steps back. That blue orb there,
Okay.
there's something alive in it. And you see it shifting around. Go ahead and make a perception and an arcana roll. Or nature roll. You pick which one.
Oh, about the same. Perception is 19, and we'll try nature this time. Nope.
So, you see that there's something inside the ball that's moving around. Not like the other ones, which show like more like a picture or an image, but this one actually looks more like something inside of a fishbowl.
So is it open on top, or is it a complete sphere?
It's a complete sphere with something blue and glowing in it.
And is it on a pedestal, or is it on the ledge there, or?
It's on a pedestal like the rest of them. They're all
Okay.
on pedestals.
All right. He'll open up Willie, or I'm sorry, not Willie. He'll open up Sam and dig around for the cloak of billowing.
Okay. Aren't you wearing a cloak already though? No, they're
Yes.
boots. Oh, you are? Okay.
He's got all kinds of stuff, but yeah, he's just pulling out the cloak of billowing. And his what he's gonna try and do is drape it over hang behind this thing, and then drape it over top of the whatever is in that globe, so he can get
Okay.
over to his where he wants to get.
So you slowly put the drape over the top of the globe. Over it, or just blocking it as a wall?
Using it just to he's gonna have to use his hands, so he just kind of drapes it over top.
Okay. So it's going over. You hear a voice in Halfling come from it. What are you doing?
I'm making you invisible.
You hear it speak louder. Who are you? Perception checks. And perception checks at the table. Actually, it's more of perception. Passive. Go ahead and make your stealth roll back over there, though, Mal.
All right.
So you guys are all talking at the table, and a hint of a voice comes from somewhere. The dragon moves it. Yeah, the woman turns her head to the side a little bit, looks back over to you all at the table, and narrows her eyes a little.
Burton says, so I must know. Clearly, it's beyond my capabilities. Is this form illusionary, or is it does it mimic the effects of an altar spell? I'm just curious, mind you, just curious.
Is that never mind.
Go for a persuasion, or you pick the charisma check to keep her attention. Performance seems like the best to me, but you can pick some other way.
They're all going to be the same for me, which is nothing. I'll give you a performance if that seems right.
Yeah. Because as soon as he says that, Nasir will lean over to Ord and be like, "Are you sure that this is the question that we want to be asking next?"
Well, I asked it.
Yes, you did.
It's
That's-
not like it's a secret.
It's not really,
I'm a wizard.
not
What do
exactly
you want?
She
I would-
stands up, then looking over, looks back all to you all. You see her pause for just a second, like maybe she's listening. Then looks back over. Well,
Let me
it's
be
about
clear.
time anyways. I'm running out of time as it is. And she takes a
James?
step back, and you see her start to shift.
Let me be
Right.
clear. That is not a big secret, right? Like
What's that?
everyone knew this is Granny transformed. She knows that we know.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big secret.
Right. That's just confused. Thanks.
There.
Right, so as soon as she starts transforming, I basically this year is going to jump up onto the table, and I think Thorn was the one carrying it.
Carrying what?
If I remember, like you said last session, that's what we said.
Oh yeah.
Not he'll jump up on the table, brace himself, and be like, Thorin!
Now, and I guess Thorn's gonna throw that potion.
We're
in the middle
gonna
of the table.
leave Mal behind.
Well, that's what Thorn's concern would be.
Mal has his own potion to get out. Remember, that was the thing. You each have one. He decided to take the risk and do this on his own. He has his own. He has the same chance to get out as we do.
Oh, he also has a potion of ethereal.
Yes, there were two.
Okay.
He has his own.
Got it.
He's on his own to get out. That's why we're
They
doing
kind
it
of
this
cross.
way.
I kind of forgot
Yes.
my. All right. Well, then
Yeah,
in
me
that case, remembering that, Thorn will throw that down.
Is there like a... Actually, you know what? I'm leaving everything here.
Just grab some silverware before the potion goes off.
Pick up the platter.
Clear list. Clear. There we go.
I don't suppose the transformation is any sort of spell.
Nah, I don't.
It would be
well,
the dropping of a spell, wouldn't it?
It's the dropping of a spell.
But not it wouldn't be casting a spell, correct?
No, she's stopping concentration on polymorph.
Got it.
Oh, James, my screen is grayed out. I didn't mention it earlier because we were just talking, but we rolled an initiative, so I guess I need it now.
Try moving your character.
Ooh, where you moving them?
This up and down one. Sometimes it'll change the things better.
Oh, yep, there it goes. And there's two Nastirs. Oh, there you go.
Oh, wow, huh?
It's the game. It's having a hard time tonight.
The fight would be better if we have two.
It's like, don't go without. All right.
And we'll say something to the effect of, as he's standing up, and here I thought we were having a pleasant conversation.
Well, the dragon rears back. You could make Thorin, make a perception check. Or do we have a better skill? I always forget. The insight, that would be better. That's the one I want.
They're about the same. I got you.
No. Well, you can pick which one then.
There we go. 19.
19. So the dragon changing, for some reason or other, maybe because you're a dragon yourself, it does not look like a hostile action. You can actually see a look of pride in the dragon's face as she takes on her full form.
And we all, like, piss ourselves down here.
Yeah.
Well, if Thorin can stop himself before throwing that potion, he will say out to everybody, calm down, just for now.
How beautiful.
You see that Nasir gives Thorin one of those "you've got to be fucking kidding me" faces.
I mean, she's not attacking.
Well, at this point, we've had several rounds of conversations. So has a dragon attacked?
No. But then it looks like Rakir gets to go first anyway.
So are we at initiative now, or what's happening exactly?
I was going to move us to initiative then, since we were having actions and stuff.
Well, if Thorin's
But if you're
if Thorin's not throwing anything, Nasir's just waiting to see what the hell's going to happen because.
Okay, well then we'll hold this initiative here.
Well,
and
is
unless something happens.
anyone else actually taking any kind of other action besides holding position?
Yeah, Thorin's going to hold his action to throw that potion, but he's just before anybody had acted, he was going to tell him to stop since he noticed that she's not, like, at the moment, she's not attacking.
I'm going to say the same thing with Odo. Odo took a step there, ducked down behind the table, drew a javelin, and is ready enough to throw it.
Oh, Odo.
Gordon will stand on his chair and go out, like, make calming gestures. Everybody chill out. I want to see if she's going to answer my question. He genuinely is curious. And would he have recognized the way that she transformed?
Yes.
That it was similar to a polymorph spell?
Yeah, it had more of a spell look to it than like a druid or other shape-shifting type of things.
Does she answer?
She drops back down in there in a very loud, booming voice. Oh, that feels so much better. Well, it's polymorph. Spell. I've been practicing magic for quite some time. It's amazing what you can collect over 2,000 years. Maybe someday you and I can trade books.
He says, I would like that very much. Something tells me your price might be steep, though, he says with a wink.
Indeed. Now, if you will all wait a moment, there's something I need to check on. And you, Mal, and she points over with her spout, looking over at Deacon Diggle, hands off the gems. And looks like she's making a turn to go head over into the cave, into the back.
Orden yells too loudly after her, we'll keep an eye on him for you, as to warn Mal.
Mal.
Do I hear a fong, fong, fong?
Yes, go ahead and roll initiative. So at least we know which one of us is going first.
All right, I'm at a 13.
Oh. Well, luckily the dragon does have a ways to get to go. All right, so you hear the odd sound of crashing feet, thundering in the earth type of feeling the weight of it hitting, as well as this slithering sound with chinkling of coins as the huge serpent is obviously coming your direction now. You can smell the reptilian in the air as well as it's rolling down this way.
All right.
What do you want to do, Mal?
He's got to go for it. He's got to get this open. He'll scramble over. The cloak is still in
fool.
place on that thing.
Yes. Oh, let me move it onto the board. As it's moving through the cloak, you recognize it at that point due to the closeness, and you've seen it so many other times. It's a will-o-wisp, but it's a different color one that you've seen. And it's a will-o-wisp that was just sitting inside there.
Oh, great.
And it speaks halfling.
Hopefully the cloak will keep him.
Did it have a way of seeing him?
I don't know. Could Willie see me when I was invisible?
No, I don't think so.
Nope. He has no special senses beyond dark vision.
Strange that he would speak to you in halfling.
I mean, they're basically just like dead. They're just like dead people. So I guess it must have been a dead halfling that made up that will-o-wisp.
Oh, there it is. It's over here. I was like trying to grab it, and I'm not grabbing the right thing altogether.
It seems like
halflings don't go walking around speaking halfling, though, unless, of course, they're living and always have lived in a halfling village. In which case, it's weird that their soul found itself here.
But she does have a lot of halfling servants, so she obviously does seem to like having them around. So maybe she likes having them undead too.
That's a fair point.
Like having undead halflings around. That's awful.
Oddly specific.
Oddly specific, yeah, no. I only kill red-headed gnomes. All right, there I finally got him.
All right. Does the cage look like it's trapped?
It's a glowing magical cage. You can make a perception check. See if it helps. Finally got the damn wisp on the board. Okay.
21.
It does not look trapped that you can tell. You don't see any glyphs, anything odd on it. There's definitely no mechanical traps. It's locked though. And there's a weird looking little looks sort of like a bat with no fur and a human head in there. Tiny little thing. It's just this hunched over, weird looking little deformed creature.
He'll try and pick it.
Little creature looks up at you in that area. Of course, you're still invisible. It looks up. Go for it.
All right. Here we go.
Nothing happens this round.
All right.
Anything else you
So
want to do?
Was that his action?
That's, picking a lock's a full action, I believe.
Yep. Can I use a bonus action to hide?
Yes.
All right.
Just located a chupacabra.
28.
Exactly. Imagine a malnourished chupacabra. It's perfect.
Aw.
Thank you.
He needs some snacks. There's got to be a goat around here somewhere.
Leave it to a southerner to know a chupacabra. All right.
They're everywhere, man.
All right. Anyways, that was zero. Let's see. How do we put these in order then? For the party at the table, I guess we'll just go in order. Back at the table, then you can all just go at one round if you want, or do something. Just let's call it a loose combat initiative, since nobody's really fighting yet. The dragon's heading on over. Looks like it's heading for a solid wall, off to one direction.
I feel like we need to try to get her attention.
All right. And
I would hate to jeopardize the peace we just brought on to Saltmarsh.
True story. At this point, we have plausible deniability that it was just happenstance someone happened to rob her while we were here. Not that she'll probably believe it, but she might.
shit. This point, basically, you're going to see Nasir is going to basically sort of hunch over and sprout two ginormous bat wings.
Yeah.
Bat wings from his back, and then flourish them with basically and wave them so they make basically like a loud flapping noise. And call out to the dragon. Says, does that mean you have no interest in negotiating Sambale's contract then?
Stops. Dead stops. And head looks at the snake dragon head bends back around over the top of itself and looks back over its body over at you.
I'll just fold the wings I use the circlet to create around myself like a cloak, and give her a bow.
Oh, you, she says, and starts turning around to come back your direction.
Orden's gonna look at Nasir and say, "You dirty little bugger," as if he had no idea.
She comes lumbering back up. The smell of the dragon alone is enough to gag a person from this humongous lizard that's moving across the area. You can feel the heat rolling off of it. Plus, it's a green dragon. They're poisonous.
Yeah, it's a green dragon.
Smells like sulfur.
Oh, God.
Yeah, sulfur and putrescence. She comes back up to this. All right, Nasir, you have my attention.
Yes. So, excellent then. If it would be amenable to you, mistress, then I would like to take the 10-year option with guaranteed delivery in person, assuming I am alive at that point, which I do not expect to be dead. However, the one thing I would basically appreciate is if you would remove the part that you put in for San Belay about hunting me down, for I believe that would be inconvenient.
It would, but how do I know that you're going to give it back? What about a magical arrangement? A geese. Of course, you could try to find a way to get it taken off, but it would at least let me sleep better.
All right, so so James, you're aware of my backstory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you do know basically that it involves basically like a 9th level geese, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you do know that basically that when two spells conflict, only the stronger spell actually sticks, right?
That's fine.
which means if she casts anything basically that isn't basically a 17th level Geese on me, it won't stick, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, just making sure before I agree to this, because this is the information Nasir is going in with, because he knows that this is probably not going to work. So at this point, Nasir will sort of basically sort of sigh and furrow his brow and say, "What would this spell do?"
It would require you at the end of 10 years to bring it back to me. That's all. And if you don't have it at the end of 10 years, it might kill you, or you'll have to get it and bring it back to you. And if you don't give it to me, it'll kill you.
I see.
But if you give it to me, all is well.
No, he just shrugs. He says, I do not intend to have any of those issues. So, and in 10 years, I feel that I will be much more capable in either way. So,
Now, I
I will.
won't kill you, and my direct servants won't, but you'll have to settle with Auntie on your own.
Is not Auntie your servant?
He doesn't play well.
Oh, sorry, what did you say, James?
He doesn't play well.
I see. So you do realize that if Auntie does become a thorn in our sides, we will hunt her down and kill her.
Oh, absolutely. I would expect nothing less.
I figured that would be, if you could keep her under a short leash, that would be most appreciated. For I do not wish to deprive you of an excellent servant, but we will not be harassed.
Absolutely.
All right, then I'm amenable to those terms.
Okay. Mal, Lockpick. Oh! 25 is what you needed.
Yes.
29 is what you got. That'll do it. The lock pops open. The little creature in there looks surprised as the gate. You open it up or what?
Yeah.
Because the lock's open. Okay. As the gate opens up invisibly, it's just on its own. The little creature looks up, steps out a little bit, and grows the moment it steps out to a larger, more faint look to it. Thank you, it says to the open air.
He whispers.
And then
Sarah Lily says, "Get out of here."
absolutely. And he fades away, leaving you with an empty cage with the door open.
All right. Now to retreat.
Your entire goal was to save a chupacabra?
I love chupacabras.
That's a noble goal. All right.
And this job.
So the sending stone is basically it's mental, right?
Yes.
And so it's between whoever's got the other one.
Yes.
And myself. All right. It's all done. I can get out of here.
That was you, Orden, that was holding it, right?
Yep. At which point Orden says, "Does that conclude your business, Nasir? I think I'm feeling a rumbly in my tumbly, if you know what I mean."
No, I believe I still must receive the dragon's spell first to seal the bargain. Is this correct?
Oh, it won't be me. I don't know those things. There's a cleric in town.
Ah, I see.
He'll seek you out. At which point, the will-o-wisp next to you, Mal, starts screaming its little bloody head off.
Yeah. I was hoping he couldn't see through the magic cloak.
But it went through it. It was covered through it. So the wisp rises up through the cloak it was actually going through before and starts screaming out loud in halfling. Right? Mistress! Mistress! Which is, Mistress! Thief! And Odo's head snaps up at that point, looks around the table. I think we should follow Orden's suggestion. What did you feed me? And he starts heading off.
Wait, what?
That's what Odo says. He looks like he's trying to get the hell out of here as well. But Odo says that we should follow Orden's suggestion.
I mean,
I think I was suggesting take our original plan out of here. our original path.
So we hear basically something in a language that none of us know unless we know Halfling yelling in the
Right.
back.
Yes.
Thorn knows Halfling, so he would be able to hear
Oh, does
that.
he too?
He
People who
does.
speak happily. Odo as well, because he was married to one. So, so Thorin, you can hear it as well. Then you know the gig is up for Mal in the back.
How's the dragon reacting?
The dragon is whipping its head around and looks angry, and is starting to head that way.
Nice meeting you. Your
But
bigfulness.
Glares as it's heading over. If you had anything to do with this, and as she goes
What?
carrying off that direction.
All of us are sitting right here. This is our whole party. You clearly know this.
all right,
Mel's gonna pour the potion on himself.
Okay.
Should I do that?
So Mal, the potion isn't a pour. If you're using the one that was given to you by what's her name?
Oh, okay.
Because because the pour one takes 10 minutes to put on. So
Oh.
what this is doing exactly is, or it takes at least a long turn. It was like a couple of turns. It was 10 minutes. This one was an explosive aerosol device that takes everything within 10 feet of it.
Oh, well, he's gonna run 10 feet away from the. He'll try and run 10 feet away from the will-o-wisp and then smash it on the wall.
Okay, so which way are you going?
Towards the entrance. This way.
Okay, so you're right there.
All right.
And that's when you pop it?
Yep.
Okay, you take with you everything that's in that square as well.
Oh, everything unattended?
Yeah.
'Cause it is a 15-foot radius, right?
Yeah.
Oh, should I be one more away from the will-o-wisp, though?
Well, too late now.
Oh.
Unless you make a quick intelligence roll, remember that it was 15 feet rather than 10.
Yep.
Not
Let me
height.
try that.
10 DC is all you need.
Well, it's Mal.
I know, that's why you have a 10. Nope.
Mal.
And it is.
Awesome.
All right, so 15 feet is pretty big. Is that up there? Something like that. All right, guys. So a portion of the wall disappears in the back there. You can see straight through into the back of the treasure room as well. The Mal, you disappear as well. Now, when this goes off, you go into ethereal, and so everything around you has gone ethereal as well, and so it's still there around you, but it's a little confusing of what's going on at this point, and it's still just sitting there. I mean, you can pick things up and carry them, but
He said he would abide by the rules. He doesn't know that he's outside of the rules right now, so.
I'm trying to get this line, but I can't grab it, so I'm not gonna bother.
And he's still invisible and got his.
Yes.
Unless it's been over an hour.
No, it's not even been 10 minutes.
All right, good. he'll start booking it as she goes. Actually, I'm not sure what she's gonna do.
Which way do you want to book? Go. You can go any direction you want. You're not in this plane of existence.
Oh, okay. There we go. We're not moving. Oh, it's a wall. That's why.
Oh, did I make a wall around you?
No, it's the actual wall in front of it.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't get rid of the damn thing. I was trying to.
So can I'll just move myself on the other side of it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. He'll pop over 5, 10, 15.
Okay, as you pop over onto that side of the fence, you can see there's a large lever on the wall right there that goes to something, God knows, but it's ethereal too. So you can actually touch these things, as well as some scrolls on the ground, a bunch of gold, no, that's about it. The scrolls and some gold. Everything else is outside the range. And the dragon, you can sort of see everything now, which is in the real world, is in the cloud world, and you can see the dragon going off towards the back area as well, passing you.
Okay. Does he have any idea what this lever might do?
Nope. Turn something on or off.
What is it?
So whatever,
Down or
it's
up?
not connected to anything anymore because it's an ethereal plane.
Oh, that's true. Oh, he'll just flip it up.
Just he goes by. What's this do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Trying to grab the damn dragon. There it is. All right, back to the table. Rakir and everybody else, what are you all doing there at the table?
Once things start to go a little sideways, Orden pointedly looks over at Diggle and says, "Are you all right, Mal? Are you staying?"
Away.
I just want to get a read for if he's freaking the fuck out or if he's staying pretty calm.
He says, head
He's-
your way.
Yes, he sounds very calm,
No,
like he's at the grocery store. Oh, you're talking about Deacon.
He's talking to
Deacon.
Diggle, yeah.
Sorry. Deacon's looking over. That's all he can say.
We got you, Mal.
Okay.
Nerves of steel on Diggle.
You're gonna be okay. If worse comes to worse, just don't say anything and we'll cover for you.
Odo, come sit down, please.
He nervously is coming back this way as he's watching the dragon disappear off to the side.
One over, next to the gnome, please.
Orden
Okay.
says with a obviously forced grin that doesn't quite reach his eyes through his teeth. We all should stick together in case we need one another.
It would be I do not know what is going on back there, but I want to make sure she does not think we are running off before the deal has been struck. So, once she catches a thief, we can continue the conversation.
Agreed. We got to get Mal's situation figured out. I don't know what the hell happened to his voice. He says out loud pointedly as he looks
Yes,
around just to...
Is there
Let's
some
see.
hot water or something at this table?
The chicken not agreeing with you?
There's wine and water.
It was
So-
a bit dry.
The dragon loops the turn. It goes into the area and comes back out through the missing ethereal wall over the top of its rather regular treasure. Just looks over, its head snaps up. Go! It says.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, all right.
all right then.
You got it.
Yes.
Yes.
Me.
Right away.
Nor nods his head. Yes, ma'am.
No, didn't say that.
Stamp and bow, mistress. And
Hey, Mal. Another stealth check.
Okay.
It's sort of just flips its head back over, sort of ignoring you all now. It's obviously extremely pissed about something.
29.
And it disappears around the corner inside the area.
Well, I'm not waiting. I'm going to get up and start moving.
Okay.
He'll ask Rakir if he wouldn't mind grabbing our trophy.
No. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, Rosnar.
Yeah.
All right, you
Yeah.
throw
I think,
Rosnar
yeah,
over your shoulder.
I used to put him on the horse, but this entire time I've been the one dragging him around.
Yes, you've been the horse. All right, you get running here. The halflings are running. They are just leaving.
Those
Is it-
Mal.
So is Mal.
Nasir will say to Odin, so if you had let me get in one more question, I would have asked her how we could have actually destroyed that one damn necromancer that keeps showing back up every time we kill him.
If I would have let you get in a question? I love how you always put shit on me that's clearly your choice.
Deacon's like, stop talking. Just go. Just go. He's just pushing behind on the two of you.
So Thorin, that's quite interesting. Someone from the company is in the town.
Yeah, more than that. He said, half the party killed the other half. If that's the truth, half our comrades are dead.
So are these some people that you knew, that mercenary company?
Oh, yes, Jazir, my mentor, basically raised me. Taught me everything I do, yes.
I see. So this is something that you would like to address then?
Oh, most certainly. If they are in town, I would like to find out what happened.
Just remember that the laws here are very rough, so perhaps do not start anything that we cannot finish.
Don't worry. I will not put your guys' safety at risk.
Okay, Mal, as you are heading towards the end there, you see the dragon on the ethereal plane.
Is it-
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
Is it north or
What's that?
which way out? Is it north or is
Oh,
it?
just head to
north,
that
yep.
gate right to your left there, that blue
The
thing.
gate.
Oh, gotcha.
go ahead and make a stealth roll again, Mal, since now you two are on the same place.
All right.
Oh shit, that's right. We automatically transfer, huh?
Oh,
Oh man,
Oh my
I knew
goodness.
this was gonna.
It's still at 20.
It's
from that.
it still is because there's a plus 10 on there.
yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Crit fails don't count for ability checks.
Yeah,
Still
I'm
do-
still,
Are you
you're-
still
I can see
invisible
the
though?
red.
Are you still
You
invisible?
hear the dragon
I'm
just
still invisible and-
yelling at this point.
If
You
you're,
would have advantage, right?
yeah, because you're invisible, right? Unless the dragon has some senses.
I wouldn't put it past a dragon to have true sight or something.
Yeah, that's true.
But can she have true sight and etherealness up at the same time as
Let's see.
spellcaster?
Hold on, let me get her up. Hold on. You guys stop moving. People
Yeah, I
running off
imagine
the
we-
map before I
yeah.
can bring up my characters.
See what some stuff's going on.
I'm pretty sure
And he's
that's-
leaving.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're both
Yeah.
concentration.
I'll go back.
Okay. No, that's
Got
right.
him.
It's the spells. That's all right. She has an insane passive perception is what's going on here.
Yeah.
But not
all-
for a 30.
Pretty much all dragons do.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross.
Let me bring her up one more time and make the roll. And perception.
Yeah, because she's passive and interactive.
Missed ya. So she's out yelling in the ethereal plane. You can hear her roaring. I can hear you, Dave! I don't think she can hear me. All right. Who's left on this map still? Nobody. Everybody went to the other one. I'll go there too now. All right.
We'd like to
Heck
leave.
no. What is this weird little rain thing in the middle of the square here?
Goes at Mal.
Okay, as you come through into this gate, the room's not empty. There's a group of people fanned out, all facing the gate. The first one you see as you come through is this large wereboar hybrid, changed halfway between human and the other. You hear one of the guys in the back. It looks like he must be another one of those were-rat guys. He's got that weird little pointy face of one of them. There they are, guys! Get up! And let's go take a break on that one. I'll clear the board. And take 5 minutes.
I don't know that I can do anything.
You're ethereal. You're just
I know.
watching.
And so even though we were guests were being attacked by her troops.
It does look that way.
I figured
Well,
this
remember,
might
these
happen
aren't
as soon as
her
we had to
troops.
walk through three
We still have
maps
that
to get here.
stuff potion ourselves though.
Yep.
I figure all this was just basically prep in case we decided to go in hot, not necessarily because we had to wind up in a fight.
Well, you haven't gotten that geas yet either. So if you
Yeah, but-
accepted the contract, she technically can still send her minions after you until you.
Well, and she did say Auntie's her own deal, and this is
Yeah,
Auntie's
this is
chamber.
Auntie's minions, probably.
Oh yeah, that's right.
By the way, James.
Mhm.
I'm assuming I can't carry a shield and sword and hold Rosnar, right?
Raznar could be the shield.
Actually, I was gonna say I'd like to. If I had to choose between one, I'd rather have a shield plus Rosnar.
Swing
Yeah, I
the
mean-
man at people. What is your strength?
My strength is 18.
Wow.
I don't know. Is that really realistic to be carrying like an entire human male while
I
fighting?
think if you strap him to you, you could do it, but you're definitely going to be a disadvantage to any dex type stuff.
Let's see. No, I was just wondering.
But yeah,
no,
you
I'm
could
gonna
just
be-
drop him to
I'm
the
gonna-
ground whenever you get in a fight.
No, I'm going to be carrying Rosnar and holding a shield.
Okay,
That is. The
Oh, not
plan.
actually fighting.
I might punch someone.
there you go.
This,
Or swing Rosnar.
I'm not gonna
Alrighty,
swing Rosnar.
I guess we'll have to see how things go because this might be an ugly fight.
we'll see.
One
How
of
about
us.
we're going to take a break though. So
One of us
it's
needs to be-
6:36. Let's meet up in like 5-6 minutes or so. Chance to grab, or
Alright,
maybe
is-
make it a little bit more, like
sure.
7 minutes.
Alright.
Go grab a
Okay.
bite, drink.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, yeah, be back in a
Well,
minute.
I'll mute till I'm back.
Yes, but one person needs to be like neutral towards Rosnar.
Yeah, you see that? He has a lot of hate coming towards him.
I know.
He has
We have a
earned
P- we have
every
a-
ounce of that hate.
We have a POW. I'm just if he had been on a horse that I don't know, like that Orden was managing or something. I don't know if Orden might not have put just a thing of caltrops for him to bounce on constantly.
No, if that was the case, Orden would just tie a rope around his waist and run around the mountain.
Oh,
And he
Oh,
doesn't have to
no.
sit in a saddle. He'll be alive.
I was amazed he's still alive. I didn't think you guys would have survived him, but you're a nice group of people.
He hates him, but Orden's also a good aligned.
Yeah, they're not. There's no murder
character.
hobos in this group.
Right.
My plan is let's try to push that first werebore off the side.
I like it. Or we could all go ethereal too if we wanted to bust the potion, but I don't know if
That's
there's
true,
enough
but
time
there's
for.
still another room.
I don't know if we'd have time to coordinate that or not. We'll have to see how initiative goes, or if we're
Yeah,
doing.
who has it? Who has it? Thorin. Thorin's never at the top of the initiative, unfortunately.
Are we rolling new initiative?
Yeah, I might as well clear this one. Hold on.
That works.
I'm digging the tentacles in the soup.
Yeah, those are cool. That's a cool animation.
I might as well initiative for all my folks while we're waiting.
Bad.
Now, it's like it makes a difference for you.
But why is there 2 rolls on there?
I don't see two. Oh, 1d20, 1d20, you mean? When you
Yeah.
hover over it? Because your sword gives you advantage on initiative.
Oh, well, that's awesome. I don't know if you can cast spells from the ethereal plane.
No, you can't.
All right.
You're an observer.
Yes, that's fine.
Sorry, man.
No worries.
Well, I think you can, but they only impact other things that are also on the material or ethereal plane.
Well, he will be ready for any ethereal invaders.
Get
How
an
long does
ethereal
that,
dragon munching around.
Oh shit.
How long does that last? Hour?
It lasts 1 hour.
That's what I thought.
The
We still have ours too, so technically we
The
don't even have to
potion
fight
lotion.
these guys.
Right.
Yes.
What was that, Thorin?
So we still have our potion of ethereal, so I can just throw that down and we can just fucking book it out of here. But if
Might
if you guys want to use that though, that's the if.
it might be best not to.
Why is
The only
that?
other thing is you guys are there's one more teleportation circle to even get back to the town. Now, the Wisp or Willie will be able to tell you where you are, but right now you're probably somewhere out in the middle of the Mirror of Dead Men.
Yeah, basically Nasir's thinking is that the way that the thief tried to get away and the way that we escaped from this would be awfully similar. So
Oh.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's smart thinking on that end, I guess.
the dragon's very smart, so she might connect the two methodologies. So I'd like to basically avoid any hint of suspicion. Although, frankly, we're actually as we're walking out, Nasir would have been like, "We need to leave. We need to leave town right now, right now."
Warren says, "Tell that to them."
Yeah, Nasir will
I'm
tell
with
you.
you. I don't
Nasir
know
will
if
tell.
they agree.
Nasir will tell you this later, assuming everyone survives. But we have a very limited time before the dragon is going to come try to kill us. Because remember, the dragon thinks the dragon orb was broken, so she thinks it's a non-issue. She feels safe. We told Auntie where it is. But if Auntie, as soon as Auntie gets a chance to talk to the dragon, lets her know that the dragon orb is still extant, and with Sirlali, then that dragon is probably going to be very upset. I do not want to be anywhere near when that happens.
All right, Thor can agree on that. It's not bad thinking.
What you're saying, and I agree.
Yeah.
Didn't she tell us it was broken though?
The dragon said, when we soon again, the dragon said, "Oh yeah, the dragon orb was broken. No need to worry about that." And so Zero's like, zip lips, not saying anything. But
Right.
before we got there,
I know
we're trading with Auntie. Auntie wanted to know where the dragon orb was, and we told her, truthfully, it was with Sirlali. Which means as soon as basically as Gnawbones tells Clowie, Clowie's going to know that the orb has not been broken, and that
or she'll think that Auntie's playing her one way or the other, because that's not uncommon amongst them.
Evil folk? What?
Well, and even Clowie had said Auntie kind of does her own thing. Like, technically, am I in charge? Sure, but only technically.
True.
I just wanted to
But
see what 22d6 was.
or let me put it this way: you just want to wait around in town on the off chance that basically that things line up poorly for us, and the dragon decides that we're too much of a liability.
Right. No, you make a solid point. Absolutely. If she were to come and ask us about it, we'd just play dumb.
I mean, at that point, if she's asking about it, it's because she knows. And we just say, yeah, it's with Sirlali. We don't have it.
Let me know when you're back, Meta, if you're here.
Oh yes, I'm back.
Brandon?
Oh yes, sir.
You're back too. Oh, everybody's here then. Okay.
Yep.
Is everybody on the board for attacking wise? Now, I'm treating these maps on the way out as one giant map, so you can welcome during the combat to actually leave and go over one of the exits and go on to the next map. So if someone decides they're going to run, you can do that. Decent. That's a lot of people on initiative. Everybody got a drink? This may be a little while. Wait, how come this here's at the bottom? Oh, you missed it at the last. Let me roll descend again. There he is.
Oh, there you go, Orden. You get to go first for
Yay! Once. Orden! Way at the top, too. What did you roll? And I got 20? 19.
Oh, 19. Yep, because I have a +6 with my War Mage stuff.
Nice.
And I usually roll shitty anyway. That's the second nice one I've rolled tonight, though, so I can't say that anymore.
Yeah, being thrown across the fucking map really helped you. Kind of shook that out of you.
I felt bad about that for a week. It's like, man, I threw his ass in the sky.
Oh, God.
All right, anyways. So, what are you going to do, Orden? You come through, you see the werebore in front of you. There's a couple of critters you don't know. They look fayish.
Well,
and they're spread out.
This is after the giant battle, so Orden is not tapped out by any means, but limited for sure. And he's also not sure if we're fighting or running. So, I mean, I know we've talked about that, but I don't think Orden's character would know that. He'd see that and be like, and we'll just bless. We'll upcast it at second level.
Yeah, because the were-rat made it clear they were attacking us, right?
Yeah, the were-rat said, "Get him!" or something like that.
But Orden would be thinking what I was thinking too, and that we could bypass this altogether. You made a good point, but Orden wouldn't have thought of that. So he was either going to mirror image or bless and keep it pretty defensive. Bless seems like a better call. We'll upcast it at second to get that fourth person and do it on himself. And Thorin, Rakir, and Nasir. And he'll yell, "Diggle, stay close to me." Oh, I'm sorry. Mal,
he's not
stay
even
close to me.
He's not even on the map. I didn't bring him along. I'll just drop
Yeah,
another
why
NPC on. He's back on there underneath the table. Where did everybody go?
Oh, did you?
Yeah, where's that? There he is. Nope, he just teleported. Damn it! I'll drag another one out and move further away from the gate. All right. So we'll put him here. All right. Who's up? What are you gonna? You did your bless. Anything else?
Sorry, I forgot the EOT. Nope,
That's right. I don't even have that chat up.
So is Lamb technically not on this map?
He is.
I'm ethereal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't see him.
Ooh.
And I can't talk to anyone because they're.
No, you're just totally out of. This is what what's her name had to deal with that whole time.
Zickle.
Sickle, thank you.
Yeah.
Zickle. And she was floating around, but she had a sending stone to, which worked.
Yeah,
I
unfortunately,
think they
used
go
my
across
sending
dimension,
stone.
right? And then
Now-
she had talked to you with the helmet.
Remind me, is it one message a day or two? So Mal sent one to me, I received it. Is there still one charge to be used? Just one. Okay.
Yeah.
So mine's burn out with him.
Well, you can reply to me, but that wouldn't.
And he
You're
probably
here.
would have said something like Roger. Gotcha.
Yeah. Check.
Yep.
Rakir, what would you like to do? Top of the round.
I'd like to, let's see, just move next to this werebore and attempt to shove him in. This shield has an ability to do that, right?
Oh, that's right.
Nice.
I think with the repulsor shield though, you have to be hit first.
I haven't looked at one of those.
Kind of dumb, but
Yeah,
Is
but
that what it does?
That is true, but that's probably basically what the werebore is going to do right away if he doesn't get pushed in by Rakir before then.
I think you could try a shove attack though, Rakir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
that's
what
what
I'm, that's what I'm going to do, yeah.
Two of them
Gotcha.
even.
I forget if it's athletics or just pure strength.
Pulse and shield, bringing it
It's
up.
athletics for you, and athletics or acrobatics for the werebore to resist.
Yeah, after being hit, you can use a reaction immediately to expend one charge and push them up to 15 feet away. Good lord. Throw their ass across the room.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Shield regains 1d4 back at sun. Okay. Did you make your athletics? Not yet.
Yes, here we go. Oh. I have multi-attack, so I can try attempt to shove him twice if this doesn't work. Ah,
Oh shit.
That didn't work. Right.
that's nice.
Make a deck save so you don't go tumbling into there yourself. Don't fumble
Well,
this
it's
one.
contested, James, so it might.
Oh, that's
might-
right. Might have. Let's see. Athletics. It's going to be a strength for him. He doesn't have a skill.
Yeah, it's a nice thing. Most enemies don't actually have.
Oh my god. Yes.
Yeah, most enemies don't have any proficiencies.
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
And he rolls a
Bye-bye.
4 for his dex to save and not fall. All right, he goes into the drink. He tumbles back and blurp into the water. It disappears into the green glowingness.
All right. Yes.
It's like, hey, that worked.
And I will. I'll just end my turn here.
You got one more attack on you though, right?
That's right. You got one more attack.
Oh, I do. I don't think I can really do much though. Besides go up and punch this mean lock, and I don't want to stray too far from everybody. So yeah, I am ending my turn here.
Okay. Where is he? This guy.
That gamer at your house.
That's game. I
Oh.
have a scene set up in the table audio, and it's you can he's really actually you have to play this someday. In tabletop audio, you can set delay repeats on each one of the different sounds, and so I have like 20 sounds on like go once every 3 minutes, go once every 5, and so it just cycles through all of these different sounds and creates a background. And
Very
then you can
neat.
save it as a scene. So this is the Hag's Lair scene, and then there was one called Dragon Lair, which had the outdoor sounds for her area.
It's a really neat way to do composite
Yeah,
ambience.
it's nice that he does that for us, because that's how he makes his own soundtracks, and he just shares his tools. All right, and the Darkling Elder. He has his jumps, moves few jumps onto the rocks in front here. As he looks like a very ugly elf, is what this guy looks like. He's sort of a dark skin. You would picture if Drow were black in my world, they would look more like this. And he's very withered and just a hideous elf with little cloaked over. He jumps over, he raises a hand, and you see darkness start falling over the area. And how big is darkness spell? Was it 30 feet or something?
15-foot radius, I believe.
Thank you.
Counter spell.
Thank you. Oh. I guess it's a spell. It's a spell effect. It's his. Go for it. Yeah.
It says cast darkness.
Yep. So you mark off the counter spell, and the darkness fades away as you block it, as it starts rolling down over the area in front of you between you all, and it fades away. And you hear the thing hiss and say something in Elvish. Mal. What does Mal the Ghost want to do?
He's kind of looking around. Is there anything interesting, like little, looks like stashes around or anything? He'll start.
Not in the ethereal plane, unfortunately.
And he can't see anything in the regular plane?
He can see that, yes. It's like you're looking into a ghost world now, except for you're the ghost. But yes, so the only thing really interesting is your helmet.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if the helmet does anything. Like
Yes, you can see the hag just next to Orden, and it's pulling out this awful looking knife out of its side, which is dripping with poison. And you can tell that it's invisible as it's coming up behind Orden.
Oh, that's not nice. Then instead of going that way, if he sees the hag, he'll run over behind it.
Okay, I'm gonna put her on the board, and then I'll put an invisible token on her.
Okay. Ah.
Jesus.
Is she a large creature?
She is.
Yeah, she was like that the last time we met her.
That's a little invisible token.
Actually, 5, 10, 15. Yeah, he'll hang there. He's gonna try everything. He'll pull out Rappy. Can you do anything?
I have to look at what he can do. All right. Do you want to do anything else in your action while I look him up?
Nope. That'll be it. Just get over there and just try and. I mean, he can't make any noise. He can't be seen. He's still invisible.
mean-
And pass without trace. So yeah.
Question:
But you're watching a horror show going
Yeah.
on.
Can Rappy cast Dispel Magic?
Let's take a look. Nope. Not a thing.
Nope. come on, guys.
All right, we'll come back to. Do you want to?
to?
Is that it for you for this round, then?
Yep.
Okay. I'll hit your end of turn. Where a
Oh,
rat?
sorry.
That's right, no big. Where is this rat? Fires a crossbow bolt. It's going to try to figure out who is a wizard. No, doesn't have a clue. He's going to fire it then at Deacon, which is going to be a long range at disadvantage. Miss.
Deacon,
And
no.
where Boar is swimming. Just keep on swimming. He's trying to get out of the water. He's screaming in pain in there, but he's swimming over to the shore. Thorin.
I have the fear that he's taken some kind of damage in that liquid, though.
It doesn't look like it, no. It looks like he doesn't look well, though. He got poisoned.
Got it.
Thorin.
All right. Thorin's gonna walk up a couple of feet. He's gonna pull his longbow out and use a fighting spirit and take 2 shots at that Darkling Elder over there.
Okay. $15 hits. So, 1 miss, 1 hit.
All right.
That is a low roll.
Yeah, it keeps doing 3 automatically. And not automatically, but I rolled bad both times.
All right, so an arrow flies across. One sticks into the guy. The other one he sort of dodges under nonchalantly.
All right, and then probably...
Oh, the third one hits.
No, I didn't. I was just testing it out.
Oh, okay. To see if it was more than a 3.
Yeah. In that case, he'll just gonna move this side a little bit longer, and that's gonna end his turn.
Okay, as you fire off a couple of rounds at this thing, where's this guy at? Way in the back. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to fire a shot off from way back there at long range. He's shooting at a Deacon Diggle as well. Hand crossbow. Boop. Oh, that one's going to get him. Diggle squawks as a crossbow bolt flies across the room and hits him. Is he even on the board? No. That's right, he wasn't here yet. Okay, I better roll initiative for him. Okay. These strange little creatures, they look like almost like large bugs, but they move like people in their motions and so forth. The one over in the far rocks skitters and jitters and makes a weird little noise and then leaps onto the rock in front of it. Nope, that's not a leap, that's a squish. Oh, he does better than that. Hold on. He teleports to there. And that's it for him. The hag pushes past you, or actually goes through you, Mal, as it walks up to sneaks up to Orden as you see it, as it raises its dagger up into the air.
Hey James, before you
Mhm.
do that,
Yeah.
if they're both on the ethereal plane, they should be
No.
able to interact with one another.
They're not.
Oh,
She's
gotcha.
just invisible, but his helmet's allowing him to see her.
Got it.
Orden!
As he's screaming soundlessly.
The terror.
Bring it, you big green bitch.
I'm just gonna use her claw for the dagger, but make it poison.
I would not want to be stabbed by anything.
Ah, misses
poison.
any. Oh, actually got 23 because it's advantage.
That
No.
would hit, but oh wait, I was gonna use a shield. I don't know if I can if she's invisible, right?
Why not?
Yeah, I imagine you could feel it digging into you and cast it at that second or something. Go for it.
In that case, his ring glows and surrounds him with a blue light.
Does that get you to 23?
Oh, that gets me well past. I've got
Oh, wow.
22 right now, so that'll get me at 27 till my next turn.
Nice. All right, so the hag appears behind you as it's digging this claw, this dripping dagger into towards your back. It bounces off there at the last second. You hear her scream and just anger at it.
The member of the staff gives me +2 bonus to AC. That's why it's ungodly high.
Nice.
It was
And
already good.
She curses and disappears again.
But do we know where she is?
No.
All right. So
Mal,
she,
you see her moving, but that you're the only one.
So she takes the hide action.
Look out!
And she goes to there. Okay. I'll just leave her on the map. It's more fun torturing you guys. Plus, it's hard because you can see her, so I need you to know where she's at. I don't know how to do it otherwise. All right, so she disappears over there. She disappears, and you just silently moves across the room. And that's it for her round. Gary's up. Deacon, what are you doing on top of the portal?
Oh shit, I'm muted. I'm sorry. The wereboar is climbing out of the water right there.
Yes, right there. So it's prone at this moment.
20 feet to there. Gary will. Oh, it's prone. That's
Yeah,
not
because
gonna
it's half its body's in the water and it's climbing up.
Yep. Oh, that makes sense. That'll work. Gary will fly down and fly into the little bug guy's face here. Actually, I take that back. Yeah, he will fly over to this elder dude that Orden counterspelled. Provide the help action there, and then 5, 10, 15. That should put him. Is that in a wall?
No.
Okay.
It's enough. Because it goes up a bit. I see a tree there, sort of.
So that guy will provide the help action to give advantage to the next attack on him.
Okay. Nasir.
All right. So I see the hag appear, attack Orden, and then disappear, right?
And disappear just silently, just perfectly silently, and is gone.
All right. Nasir's going to come over here. You see him scatter a few things on the ground around him, and then raise the staff and cast a spell through it.
Are we getting bugs?
You getting bugs.
All right. What do you got, spiders?
Yep.
Okay, how many do you want? How many are in there? I think you can drag them out, or can you?
Yep, I can. I should be able to. Just give me a sec. my game wants to behave.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Yeah, I'm not actually able to drag them out.
Okay. I'll bring them out then. How many did you need? I'm sorry.
3, please.
And when do they get to go?
Yeah, actually, don't have any yet. That's why. But I actually don't have any control of them. When I look at them, they only get the bio and info, so I'm not actually don't have any ability to use them. So I can't roll their attacks or anything either.
No, we'll fix that while we're chatting. Huh. It says can be edited and controlled. Oh, that's a centipede. But should be controlled by all players. Summon giant spider. Is that the one you're looking at?
Yes, please.
This guy.
Yeah, when he pulled up it says bio and info.
Weird. Who knows?
Does it have both? Do you have both the token and the actual? It's nice not just tokens. Actually, the character sheet needs it as well.
Okay, well I'll work on that in between. Sammy, did you say again? I got lost. I started playing with the damn tokens.
Yeah, both. I think that both token and the character sheet I need to have basically.
I mean, how many of these spiders do you want while I drag them out?
3, please.
Okay. Let's move them out for now. We'll deal with it. Are they going on your turn or later?
By raw they get their own initiative.
All right.
Do you want them to go on my turn? Do you want basically?
Yeah, if you would. There's enough things on the counter.
Yeah, that's the way all the modern stuff works. So I figured it'd be easier for this one. All right, I'm going to put.
Ah, he's jumping around. You can move him now.
Yep, we're going to basically put. See, that's back there, so he would probably do something like this. Diggle's there, and Mal isn't actually there, so.
Right, don't worry about Mal.
Ooh, spiders.
Yeah, in you.
Wow, he's kind of fascinated, I'm sure.
All right, and they're all going to basically going to command them all to spit web at this guy here.
All 3 of them?
Yep. I don't think their range is very much, and it's also not a very good chance to actually stick. So they're mainly there as body blockers.
I can't believe how slow the system is. Oh,
Nice.
Holy crap!
these are badass spiders. All right. All right. Yeah. So they all definitely hit.
So I don't actually
DC
have.
Bursting the web on.
You don't actually have the stats for what that means. Yep, unfortunately, I can't see the stats because I don't have control.
Oops, that's weird. Okay, I'll worry about it a little bit then. All right, and DC 12 strengths to save to get, but it looks like it'll be on their turn anyway. So,
yeah.
All right, he's restrained for right now. Poison, prone, and restrained.
Yeah, and he has to spend his action to actually get a chance to break free. So even if he does break free, he's wasting his time.
Yep.
And he's melee, so he has no choice but to do that or just sit there. So, all right, that's pretty good. I'm done.
There's a cool web one. All right, who's next? Deacon. Deacon screams when the spiders are all over the place, and then casts a spell as well. I can get his little token up. Come on, Deacon. God, I hope we don't refresh the screen. I have like 10 character sheets open right now.
Maybe the animation might.
Oh yeah, I'll turn that off. There you go.
Background or.
I can delete it. All right. Oh, that'll work. All right. He calls out to the sky, Sir Lally, protect me and our heroes. and casts a spell. So everybody near him now is going to get a bunch of bonuses. You can't be deceased, resistance to poison, advantage on saving throws against most of the conditions.
Sexy.
The mean lock, then, it's one of the last one over there.
So everybody but Gary.
It scampers forward and attacks Rakir. Oops, more. Little claw attack obviously misses. And then it teleports away. I think I can make it to there. Yep. And back to the top again. That was a long round. Orden.
Orden drank from his own flask, otherwise he'd be pretty sure somebody put something in it.
So spiders are popping up everywhere.
Shit popping in and out, big hag
Things
jumps,
teleporting, things popping around.
jams at him, disappears, runs around. He is going to
Has any
keep it simple. And firebolt the guy that he counterspelled that has a help action on him right now.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Definitely pops him. For 13 points, he screams in agony as you bloody him, and that finger tests one shot.
And then 10, 15, moving through people, 25, 30. He gets up here next to Rakir and Raznar. No bonus action. Hold on. No, I used my power surge last time. We haven't rested yet, so I don't have that. I was going to add a few points of damage, but
Take your time. It's not the Academy Awards. The music doesn't tell you the turn's over.
nope, I'm good. I'm good. That would be a funny feature, though.
All right, 30 seconds, we kick on the music. After 2 minutes, I move you to the GM's lair. All right. Who's next? Rakir.
Let's see here. I do want to attack. No one said anything about the hag, right?
You
Yeah, we don't
can't
know
see
where
the
she's at.
hag.
Yeah, she's invisible.
Yeah.
I just
but
have her
mean,
under for Mal can see her. Nobody's even
no-
said anything.
All right, good.
Oh wait, you could make a perception. What's your passive? 'Cause she was on the. She was around for a
My
little while.
passive is 10.
Yeah,
you
but
would
her
have seen her
ability
though.
specifically
Absolutely.
said, "Oh, when she came to, yeah,
Yeah.
you wouldn't know
So
her."
you saw her pop into existence, stab Orden in the back. It bounced off a magic shield. She screamed in rage and disappeared again.
And then Orden came and took shelter behind you.
Man, I pull out all the stops with the spiders, and you don't like what I can give you.
Oh, I like
I
you
for
just
the spiders.
Rakir's
if I don't-
big, and
He
he's
should have
got
hopped on one's back.
There you
If I
go.
don't know that, if I don't know that she's invisible, I'm not gonna do anything. Then I'll keep it simple. I'll become giant. I've been saving this. I haven't done this for
Cool.
I think a few combats.
James, that brings up something that occurs to me. If he were giant size, could he not hold his shield and Raznar essentially in the same?
That wouldn't be a
thing?
problem.
But I wasn't giant at the start.
No,
of
you could.
combat.
Rasnar becomes a stole if you want. You just wrap it around your neck.
It's my new Rasnar.
Yes. Is it? It's with a W. I always wondered how that word was spelled. I thought it was ST.
Wait. Oh no, I was just making a joke about him getting large.
Oh,
Stole is definitely with a T.
oh, it is? Okay, it's with a stole. It's an old word. I didn't know if I had it right.
Stole.
All right, so now that you're big, what are you going to do? Is that your whole action?
No, that's a bonus action.
Nice.
And then with my action, I'll do the amazing thing of drawing a sword.
Huh.
Item interaction.
Yep.
Yeah, it's item.
Reaction, yeah.
Item
You still can
interaction.
go. As you go big, this huge sword comes pulling out. It's probably like 8 feet long.
And then we have one free object interaction. Alright. Then yeah, I'll attack this mean one.
Little critters skitters and scratches and stuff as you swack them. Both hits. First one hits him.
Then.
Oh. Oh. As you bring your sword down, though, I need you to make a wisdom save. DC 11.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, never mind.
Don't forget you're blessed too. You get a
Oh,
D4
yeah.
on all those.
Don't need it there now. But yeah, next time,
you
put the
need
bless
it.
check on.
Yeah.
All right. Where'd he go? There he is. I lost him. Nearly chopped the guy the little critter in half. It's very small. It's down now that you're tiny, and it's already tiny, and now you're huge. So you stab at this thing with your sword, squashing it like a bug almost. It's trying to pull off of the end and get away from you.
And that'll be the end of my turn.
All right. This one moves up to here. Hold on a second. Making sure my dog isn't shitting in the room and it just has gas.
Oh no.
I'm like, what is this awful smell? All right. Like, we must be getting near the end of our time. All right.
Popcorn and now dogs.
Yep, someone's got to go. All right. So, anyways, the critter that's been stabbed a couple of times and blasted dashes up behind you, Rakir, and pulls out his two little short swords and swings at you twice with them.
Alright.
First one, 16.
That does not hit.
Oh, Darkling Elder has advantage on attack rolls. Take it back. 20. Does a 20 hit?
No.
Advantage from what?
Oh, and do I take it back? If there's a big word at the beginning there. If he has it, then he gets to do additional damage. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. He misses, and his second swing, 19 hit.
Nope.
Doubt it. Okay. He stabs both. Very frustrated and he curses you in Elvish, which you're Elvish, and you hear him curse you. And you recognize him what he is when he starts speaking. He's a Darkling, which is like a cursed little fey creature, which goes through a weird ceremony and becomes looking like an elf, but it's not really an elf. And you know they're despised.
Can I reaction push him with the shield?
Yeah, if you have that. Oh, he didn't hit you.
Ah.
Throw the shield up there if you have the ability. I don't know if they actually have to hit you or just attack. Repulsion. Here it is. It says, while holding it, can reaction immediately after being hit by a melee attack.
Alright.
That's probably never going to happen. All right. And your turn. Now, the untouchable.
Alright, Mal's gonna follow old Witchy around. It doesn't cost anything
Oh,
extra to
did
these guys, does it?
no, you're real. Did Rappy actually answer you? If you had any tricks?
Yeah, he didn't. Nothing he can pull off on this one.
20, 25. He's gonna say, Sarah Lily, help me help my friends. And he'll try and stab her.
Then I'm going to stab her. Okay, the sword swings through her, unfortunately, doing nothing.
Alright. And that'll be it for now.
Hold on, I gotta look up one thing real quick. Okay, I was just double checking something else. Alrighty, and then whose turn are we on now then? Where's this guy at? We've lost our little token thing that highlights whose turn it is, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, oh whatever. Alright, he's gonna fire his crossbow. They're focusing there on Deacon still. They think he's the wizard. Oh, that misses. And second shot. Ooh, misses as well. The werebore tries to break out of his damn thing. Out of his what was it? A 12? Was that? Think that what it was?
Yeah, it was pretty low.
Pretty low, but he's
Yeah,
got a couple of them on him.
Yeah, you had DC 12.
Can you have stacked conditions of the same type?
No.
I don't
I
believe
don't
so.
think so. That doesn't seem like it'd be fair.
Yeah,
All right, well, he loses his turn, but he does rip free from them and is still screaming, trying to get up out of the damn water. He's still got half of him in there, but he's ripped free of the damn webs. And Thorin.
Okay. All right. Seeing this little pathway right here is pretty fucking congested right now. He's gonna.
If the hag's not there.
Yeah. He knows the hag's not there. Like up here, Rukir and all them.
Yeah. Hag can't get through there.
He is gonna. Can he see this Dark Elder right here? This
Yeah.
on the other side of Rukir.
Absolutely.
All right. He's gonna keep working on that guy. He's gonna take 2 more pop shots.
Hey, do them one at a time, because he's already bloody.
This is not with the fighting spirit.
Check. Ow. Okay. 7 is the total damage on that one.
Yep,
First
and
one
then,
slams him, the second one drops him as he falls off into the water.
the second
Okay.
one was a 9.
Yeah, well, he definitely does it. Even then, more so.
Well, I only rolled a 9 to hit him. Does that hit him?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it wasn't have an advantage. The
Yeah.
first one definitely hit.
I thought I saw. Yeah, do 9 back on this.
I mean, I'll take it.
He's barely alive then. He's
All right, and then Thorn is going to put his bow away. He's gonna pull out his sword next turn.
Okay.
And that's gonna be his.
Creature's yelling at you in Elvish.
He's gonna take a step this way though. He sees his boar climbing back up.
Okay. We're at is going to fire off 2 shots at. Who looks easy enough for him to hit? He's going to go after Nasir. It's still a long shot, so it's going to be at disadvantage. 10 misses, 7 misses. And he starts walking forward. He's like, damn it. Oop, and I'm in the water now. Oh, he's a little small. Hey, the little creature next to you, Rakir, is clawing away at you as it's skittering and it's trying to grip into your ankles and do something to you. Where did the little guy go?
These 4 creatures.
Yeah, hardly. Oh, did he get lost? Let's add him in. Alright, I don't think a 9's going to hit you, so he then teleports away as well. Nope, too bright over there. it in there. Okay, the hag reappears again next to you, Orden. Screams again in anger at you. Try this!
Oh god.
Eh,
Wisdom.
I'm not gonna. I'll wait till after my roll to say what I was gonna say, lest we have another. What's the worst that could happen? Moment.
Yeah. Wisdom save throw DC 12 is all it is.
All right. I'm blessed, so that will be added on. Oh, there we go.
Nice!
Worst case scenario, I could have used my reaction to add another 4, +4 to it too because of arcane deflection.
Can Thorn hit her now?
Sexy.
He's got
Oh,
a
yeah.
reaction thing.
Yep, Sentinel.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
That makes an attack action. That was a spell, though. Would that count as a...
Yeah, go for it.
I don't have
Especially
a
since
weapon out.
it's right there.
Yeah, I don't have a weapon out either, so it's going to be a strength roll.
Let's do some
He-
smacker.
Yeah, he's going to pull his sword out. He put his
Punch
bow
her,
up, so he
yeah.
pulled his sword out.
Oh, didn't you have the bow out already?
He just put it away on his end of his turn.
Oh, so you
I wanted to drop it, but I don't want to fall off the cliff
Okay.
or lose it.
You did pretty good that last time. Last time you basically took out that one harpy with a the vicious longbow boop.
It smacked the shit out of it.
Yeah, you got a crit. So I guess you get to punch her.
I guess so, yeah.
Backhand. He shows up. Pop! So
She can't move after I punch her, but
I guess it.
Four. Just swings on her.
Swings over. Make a dex roll so you don't stumble and be at disadvantage or something next round. 10 DC. Oh,
Oh my god!
Uh-oh.
Thorn just startled.
She peers in the air. You swing at her. You miss her completely. She laughs and does like a little bit of a twist and bump, and you go tumbling down into the water as well.
Oh, God.
Thorn, no.
Thorn just yells out, "You fucking long-nosed goblin."
Con save real quick, just to make sure you don't get poisoned. 12
Let's get
DC.
this other fucking that one.
No more at once.
All
That's
right.
better. Okay, you're fine.
How far
Is there-
does he fall down?
You're like waist deep in it. You can.
Waist deep?
It'll count an extra 5 squares to get out of the water when you get out.
Okay.
All right. Let's wrap this round up and we'll pause it at that point then. Alrighty then, where are we at? Hag's done. She disappears again at the end of that. Got a lot of room left. Gary.
Gary comes swooping over to where the hag was, screams in anger, comes over to the guy he harried before to harry him again,
Okay.
and then ends his turn back over here by Orden. So we'll provide the help action on the.
Good thing Gary doesn't have doesn't get opportunity attacks and run around all these guys. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And Nasir.
All right. All right. So one of the spiders gets back its web.
Yay. You can pick whatever one you want.
Yep. So let's see. First, so are any of these guys looking pretty hurt on the board? I think this one, right?
The only one that's really being touched, the 2 mean locks. Oh no, the Darkling, yeah. That one and a little mean lock way that popped away looks pretty damaged. The rest of them haven't even been touched.
All right. So we're gonna fire one grave bolt at the Darkling.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
How about 17 damage?
What Darkling? All right, so that one withers away, screaming in agony as it sort of blows away in Lord Voldemort style.
All right, and the other, and let's see which other Beanlock. Actually, this guy did stand up afterwards. He broke himself free, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, then I'm going to basically fire my other grave bolt at him.
I can take off his.
Nope.
And that one's gonna miss.
Yeah, I figured. All right, then basically, I'm gonna basically make all the spiders basically run in a big tight circle around me, like charge around me furiously. And when they don't contact the invisible hag because the hag's not there, Monsieur will just kind of curse and have the one who's basically got his web back, basically wait until the hag pops her head in and try and web her.
Nice.
This version doesn't have my thingy, so I'll put the ready to action here, and then I'll have the other two after they charge around, looking for the hag, will basically go up and double team this werebore. So if you could roll two of the attacks for them for me, please.
Oh, because the damn character sheet never opened up. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it was my bad. I don't want to deal with them now, though. All right. Bite. Hit. Bite. Hit. Werebore takes. Oh, nice. And then the other one. Ooh. DC 11 for the werebore. Who's going to be at disadvantage? He's already poisoned. Makes that one, and the other one makes both of those. So he's going to take 10 plus 5, 11, plus 14. Nice.
So 13 plus 12, right?
Yeah. I can get his little thingy up here.
Yeah, so 25 total. Not bad.
Oops, that's wrong. I did 136. Hold on.
Take that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the werebores are beefier than 25 damage. Alright, and the seer is done.
Ah, stupid game. I cannot type in these little boxes. Which brings us to Deacon's round. I'm not going to worry about this for now. I'll fix him later. I know he has 7,878 hit points. Is this a range? No. He'll just Sacred Flame with the Wounded Meanlock. How far is the range on Sacred Flame?
It's at least like 60.
Alright, he'll take 5 feet forward and blast him. So he steps forward and Sacred Flames the Meanlock way over there. Nope, it's probably going to make the dex save, though. They got killer dexes. Nope. And it dies.
Nice.
Barely. Blasted and so forth. And that... Which Beanlock is that, anyways? This one, he's going to teleport over here. And then that's it for him. Alright, let's stop and call it a night at that point on this one. I know it's middle of it, but I really wanted to show you guys the new system and give us a couple minutes to poke around in it and give you a tour on it.
Cool.
Because this looks like it's going to go for a couple more hours. We're slowly going through these guys.
And we'll need like a login for this, right?
Right, so I'm going to give you the I'll put it in the Discord since everybody here is on Discord. I'm going to put it in the Foundry VTT discussion at GOS, so y'all get a tag. I'll pop it in the disc chat here too. Oh, after I turn off the recording. I don't think I need to share that with the whole world. Stop.